Well, hello everyone. My name is JamieLynn, and so how is it that I can speak on forgiveness? I will give you a little bit of a backstory, and I wanted to just thank the shares that our first two speakers had. They're just absolutely amazing and absolutely needed. So my backstory is that I spent 8 years being sexually abused by 5 family members, and later on learned that some of the things that my mother was doing was also inappropriate. But the thing was is that I made a promise before I was born. And so this is going to go a little bit spiritual, and just be open-minded and stick with me here. When I was 7 years old, the spirits came to me and reminded me that I had something big that I had promised to do. And they asked me how it could be set up so that I could make a difference and feel supported. So I asked for 2 wonderful girls, but begged them to be 5 years apart. I got my wish. I also wished for my husband to meet him when I was 15, and that he would love me unconditionally through my healing journey. And I got my wish. We've been together for 19 years now. And that's a whole nother conversation of manifestation. But how did I get to a position where I'm thriving in my life and can enjoy those 2 beautiful girls and my husband of being together for 19 years? And that was through the path of forgiveness and doing it in a powerful way. So you can imagine having 5 sexual abuse offenders. We were all roughly children. One of them was 21 at the time. Oh, and I did have an online pedophile before they recognized that kind of thing. And I've forgiven all of them, and I've forgiven myself. So first of all, you want to be aware of what the damage has done. So the impacts of the trauma or the heartbreak or the upset. So what I like to do is journal. And I had spent a lot of time writing letters to each of them, telling them how disappointed I was, how sad I was, how sorry I was, because even as the victim of this situation, I was doing the victim blaming, which is a natural occurrence. And the willingness then to forgive took me a few years, but it really only takes a few moments if you are willing to look at what the situation is causing to you. So anger for me, sadness, depression, PTSD. You might even be able to see I still have an impact of hives of being nervous about talking about the situation. Don't worry, they'll go away. There's nothing wrong. There were issues with my relationships that were impacted. So I had all this stuff going against me. Plus I could not get employed because I was too nervous to be able to hold down a job. So Courtney and I were just talking, we're both graphic designers. I was like, I felt so much safer doing that at home than in an office. So all these things were stacked against me: eating disorder, cutting, everything. When I looked at who was responsible for the choices in my life, you want to know what I discovered? Those were all my choices. It's hard to fathom that I chose to cut my arm, but I did. It's hard to fathom that I would play into the nervousness willingly, but I did. So when I realized that I was responsible for my life, that's where the power was. And the step that I had to do to get into who I really am today was to forgive. But here's the trick, and here's the myth. Forgiveness isn't for the person who harmed you. Not at all. You don't even have to tell them that you've forgiven them. Forgiveness is for you to say, I am no longer holding on to this hurt. I am no longer going to sit here and allow this to rule over my life. And the moment that you can say that is the moment that you begin to thrive. And it can be a scary place at first because it's easier to point the finger. It's easier to say, hey, but you raped me, but you hit me, but you hurt me, and you talked bad to me. It's so much easier to do that. And I'm not saying that we're condoning what they've done. What I'm saying is we're taking back our power. We're taking back who we are, who we truly are. We are not the anger. We are not the labels that we were given because we were going through a journey that was hard to deal with. We're not any of those things. We're not even the bodies that we're in, right? We are who we say we get to be. And I say that I am a strong, powerful woman who raises polite children, which I get complimented on that one a lot, so I use that one, with a loving marriage, and open enough to where I can talk to him about my past. And it may make him uncomfortable, but he also understands that he's supporting me. So I created that. So many people that come to me as an empowerment coach for the sexually abused tell me that, oh, I can't tell them. I could never tell them. But guess what? They already know. They know that something's happening. So in order to put in forgiveness, you're also allowing the space for you to express what's there for you. So let me get back to the journaling conversation. Journal all of it. If you have talked it out in talk therapy already or not, if you've chatted with a friend or not, journal it all the details, everything that you don't want in your head anymore, get it out on that piece of paper. It may take notebooks upon notebooks, and then throw them away, burn them, get rid of them, tear them up. The physical action of tearing up the paper actually gives you a sense of release from your anger. And then on a nice big sheet of paper, write, I forgive you, I love you, I forgive you, and read that out loud for about 2 minutes every day. If you have more to say, write all that underneath it and get a marker and write really thick on top. I love you, I forgive you, I love you. So the other way that you can allow forgiveness into your life is to talk it out with the person. And I've had that opportunity, and I share that on a summit that I host. But what I learned inside of that with my offender was he was going through the same exact path that I was. He had the hatred for himself, which I did. He had the trying to understand why it happened to begin with. So as human beings, we all take the same path. And my offender gave me this really cool quote. I believe it's from Buddha. If you're holding onto a piece of charcoal that's on fire, intending to throw it at someone else to burn them, who's the one getting hurt? Inside of the responsibility, we can take that piece and put it off to the side, and we don't have to hurt ourselves. We're hurting ourselves when we can't forgive. So you can get a hold of me at info@ariseempowered.com. Again, that's info@ariseempowered.com. I hope that this has brought you an opportunity of hope and an action inside of forgiveness in your life. And it's a powerful thing to do, is to forgive, because you're really forgiving yourself. So thank you.